Hey friends, welcome back to our channel, and welcome if you're new. I'm Angie and this is part 4 of our Handmade Christmas series. If you are new to our channel, I started a Handmade Christmas series at the beginning of November, and we have made a dried fruit wreath, star anise wreath, and a Christmas tree pillow dupe. So if you missed any of those videos, I'll put a link in the description box below for you so you can catch up on all of our DIYs. Today we are going to be making DIY Christmas tree ornaments. I have some fun ideas for some different ornaments for us to create. They are easy and budget friendly, and it should be a fun DIY. So without further ado, let's get started. For this project, you need a pack of clear ornaments. These are plastic. You can also use glass. And I found mine at Hobby Lobby. Christmas is half off right now, but I also saw a 2-pack of these at Dollar Tree for $1.25. You also need paint in the color of your choice. I chose this pretty blue color. You'll also need a paintbrush. I found this at Dollar Tree. There's a 2-pack in here. And you're also going to need some baking soda to use on your ornaments, 2 paper plates, and you also need something to protect your surface. I'm using this old cereal box, and you'll also need some ribbon and some scissors. You also need some sort of drying station for your ornaments. I just poked skewers in a cardboard box, and this worked out well for me to allow my ornaments to dry completely. We'll add a little bit of paint to our first paper plate, and we're going to take the top off of our ornament and we're going to put it aside because we're going to do something with it a little later. And then we're going to paint a coat of paint on our ornament, and just do some thin layers of paint for the first coat. And you will be able to see some brush strokes, but don't worry about that because we're going to fix that in another step. But just focus on painting your ornament. I did use the skewer inside the ornament to help me hold it. This helped me out a lot and to help me not to get paint everywhere. But just continue painting until your whole ornament is painted. And then you can set it to dry. And if you have a station like I do with skewers, you can just place it there to dry, or you can just sit it on its tip to dry. Either way works out well. And then continue painting all the rest of your ornaments and then set them up to dry. After the first coat of paint is dry on your ornaments, we'll go ahead and add a second coat of paint. This will cover up some of your brush marks and give more coverage on your ornament. After you finish your second coat of paint and the paint is still wet, we will do the next step, which makes these ornaments look like faux velvet ornaments. We'll just put a little bit of baking soda in our second paper plate, and we'll just sprinkle it all over the ornament, and the wet paint will help it to stick on the ornament. Just sprinkle the baking soda all around the ornament, making sure that you cover the whole ornament with baking soda. And then after you do that, we're going to move to the next step and make this ornament look like faux velvet. It's a really neat technique that you do, and it is so beautiful when you finish it. I love this technique, and I would just love to do all colors of ornaments doing the baking soda and making the ornaments look like faux velvet. You can buy the velvet ornaments in the store. A lot of times they're already sold out, but with this way you can make ornaments the color that you want for your Christmas tree. So it's a really nice technique and ornament that you can make. After I sprinkle the baking soda, I just put it up to dry just a little bit, and I go ahead and start painting on my other ornaments and sprinkling the baking soda. And then I just put them up all to dry for just a bit, and then I want it dry to the touch, and then I'll take the ornaments and I will brush off the baking soda. So I'm using this paintbrush. You can use any kind of brush, but just lightly brush off the baking soda, and some of it will stay behind because it is sticking to that paint that was wet when you applied the baking soda, and it just gives the faux velvet look. So you just keep dusting the ornament until you're happy with how it looks. This is how mine turned out, and I can't believe how much it looks like velvet. I love this blue color. It is so pretty. Then for the tops of the ornaments, I will just use some of my Rub and Buff and just brush the tops of the ornaments. And this makes them look a little bit more high end, and it also makes them that gold color that I love with this dusty blue color. And then I just pop the tops back on, and this is what they end up looking like. Such a beautiful DIY. You have faux velvet ornaments for inexpensive, and they are so beautiful. You can do any color you want for your Christmas decor, and I just love how this DIY turned out. For this DIY, we need some decorative napkins. I got mine at Dollar Tree, the same plastic ornaments, some Mod Podge, and a brush, and we're going to need a paper plate and something to protect our surface. We start by unfolding our napkin, and my napkin is a 2-ply napkin, so we're going to pull off that bottom white layer from our napkin and just have the one layer to use for this DIY. I started out first by tearing off some pieces of the napkin, and you can do it either way you want to. I like this look a lot, and just ripping the napkin in random places and just using those pieces. It turned out beautiful by doing this, but you could also use your napkin and cut out some of the different patterns on your napkin. This gives you a little bit more control of what your ornament is going to look like, but either way works great. I also cut some long strips for my ornaments, and I was just going to try out that technique, which it worked out great. So I recommend cutting the strips or tearing them or cutting out the patterns. Then you start by adding a thin layer of Mod Podge on your ornament, just all over it, and then going back and adding your pieces of napkin. You can add these anywhere on it. It's very forgiving and it just turns out beautiful. Then I just lay my napkins on top of the Mod Podge on the ornament and just press it down ever so lightly with my finger, and then I will go back and press down with the brush, and that way you have a little bit more control on the ornament. A tip that I learned while doing this craft was, since the ornament is round, it's best if you cut the napkin in places where you are curving the napkin. It just helps it lay down a little bit smoother, and it makes the napkin look better on the ornament. So you can cut this, and then when you Mod Podge it down, it just goes together seamlessly and you cannot tell that it has been cut. So you just keep doing this all around the ornament, adding pieces in the bare spots until your ornament is completely covered with the napkin. And here I'm using the brush to just brush on a little bit of Mod Podge and just lay that piece of napkin down on the ornament. It's best if you push your napkin down on the ornament with the brush, because with your finger it tears a little bit and the brush was a little bit gentler on the napkin, and so I just started doing this technique with the napkin on the ornament, just brushing a little bit of Mod Podge and then pressing it down with the brush all the way around, and then cutting it in places that I needed to help the napkin lay down. So I hope that tip helps you with this craft. It really helped me to have more success with my ornaments that I was covering with the napkins. So this is what it's looking like so far. These are the pieces that I cut out of the napkin, and I like the poinsettia on the ornament so you can see the full flower. But I just continue to add a little bit of Mod Podge around the ornament and then add my napkin pieces. This is another piece that I cut out with the poinsettia and put it on the back of the ornament, and I think it's so pretty. You could do any style of napkin for these ornaments and just make it your own. But I'm going to cut it again to help lay down that napkin. This helps so much. And I think there's a process you can do to keep the wrinkles out of your napkin. I don't mind it because the finished product looks very good to me, and so I don't mind the wrinkles at all. But I just Mod Podge it down with the brush, make sure it's all stuck, and then here I am using the strips, and this worked really well with the round ornaments because it covers more of the space of the ornament, and it was a little easier to work with. So I just added it down with my brush, and it just went on so easy, and then everything just kind of goes together and you cannot see the different strips of the napkin. So I really like using the strips. I also thought this would be pretty with fabric pieces that you could make and Mod Podge on your ornament. So maybe I'll do some of those for Christmas and see if that process would work. But this was really a fun craft, and it turned out so pretty, and you could use any kind of napkin for this, any kind of color that you want to, or design. Be really pretty. So we are finishing up this ornament, and after we get everything glued down, we're going to go over the entire ornament with a layer of Mod Podge. And that just secures everything down. It gives it a nice glossy finish at the end, and it just makes it look finished, and it's so pretty. So just go over the whole thing with a layer of Mod Podge, and then we're going to lay that out to dry, and I let mine dry overnight. While those are drying, I go ahead and brush some rub and buff on my ornament tops, just like I did with the last ornaments, just to give them that finished look. And then I pop the tops back on, and I leave them out to dry overnight to make sure they are completely dry. And then this is what they look like the next morning. I love how they turned out. I love the colors, and I just added a little bit of red velvet ribbon to bring out those red poinsettias, and I think that it's so pretty. It's such a fun craft, fun DIY, and it will add some color to your Christmas tree. Well, friends, that about wraps up this video. I hope that you liked these DIY Christmas ornaments. If you like this type of content, please give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment. It helps out our channel so much. As always, thank you so much for watching, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and our blog, Our Contented Home. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye-bye.